Good Erev Shabbos. It's a very special time that we're in, this time between Pesach and Shavuos. 7 weeks that we're counting that lead us from the freedom from Egypt toward the freedom of accepting God's Torah and becoming something more than we thought we could ever be. And normatively, these 7 weeks would be weeks marked by eager anticipation and restrained joy, perhaps. Unfortunately, for the past 1900 years, they've been days that have been marked with gloom and sadness, maybe even depression, because of an incident that happened in the time of Rabbi Akiva when 24,000 of his prime students, 12,000 pairs of students, inexplicably passed away during the course of a pandemic in the space of the 33 days between Pesach and Shavuos. It's for that reason that when we count Sefira, when we count the Sefira Sa'omer, we're more restrained, and for many of those days we don't get haircuts, and we don't buy new clothes, we don't shechiyanu, and don't listen to music, and we are in a state of semi-mourning. It's a very fragile time. And so it's developed that the emphasis of this time is one that's put on sensitizing ourselves bit by bit, mini emotion by mini emotion, to be more compatible with each other, to appreciate the other better. And it's a time that challenges, for many of us, our relationships, not only in the present circumstances where people under the same roof have had to learn a whole new set of protocol in order to be able to maintain some kind of shalom bias, but also with each other, more largely abroad. There are occasions that come up, things that get said, feelings of hurt, rejection, or unappreciation that ask us to not succumb to them, but to rather rise above them and appreciate the otherness of the other and the validity of that difference and the validity of their being. I want to share with you a quick little story. It happened in Iran somewhere towards the end of the 19th century. There was a small town over there where the ruler of that town, where for years the Jews and the Muslims and everybody else had existed in fine, sort of District 6 mode, where everybody was friends with each other and everything was fine. But he had been irritated into a state where he decided that everybody had to become Muslim. And this obviously threw the Jewish population into a bit of a tiz. They convened to talk and to discuss how we're going to present ourselves to this governor, and how we're going to get him to change his mind, and what kind of bribes do we have to come up with. And it was one of the women that came up with an idea and said, just leave it to us. Me and my sisters will take care of this. And the next 7 days, they were very busy weaving 2 rugs out of pure silk. And at the end of that time, they presented them to the various Jewish townspeople and said, take these with you when you go to the governor, and this is what you should say to him. And they described what to do. So a few days later, after trekking the necessary distance to get to the governor, and they appeared before His Excellency, who told them in no uncertain terms, you've wasted your time in traveling all the way here. I'm not interested. I'm not going to change my mind. You're all going to be good Muslims by next Friday. Otherwise, you're in trouble. But listen, since you're here, I'll go through the motions. So the elders approached the governor, and they bowed low. Your Honor, before presenting our petition, we brought you a gift, a token of our gratitude for the many long years that you did allow us to live in our communities as Jews quietly and obediently under your powerful protection. The governor was a guy that liked gifts and said, okay, so what have you brought me? And so they had both the carpets brought in and unfurled in front of the governor's feet. On behalf of the Jewish community of this town, we beg you to choose one of these two carpets as your gift. Both carpets were broad, plush, tightly woven, made out of the most exquisite material. First one had all sorts of designs and decorations, different colors, a bit of gold here, a bit of green over there, some turquoise over there. The other one was totally red. No design, no differential. The whole rug was just one sprawling mat of red. What? Cried the governor. How dare you? I shall have you all decapitated for such insolence. Do you take me for a fool? What kind of choice is this? Who in his right mind would not choose the first carpet with all of those wonderful filigrees and designs going on over there? And who in full possession of their faculties would choose the second one, which is all just plain red? At which point the eldest of the Jewish elders stepped forward and said, Your Honor and Your Excellency, the Silk Rugs are the territories under your benevolent sway. Today that province is filled with people of every imaginable culture and creed. There's Muslims, there's Christians, there's Zoroastrians, there's Manichaeans, there's Azeris, there's Jews. And in this way it resembles the first carpet with all the various designs and colors that are there. Would Your Excellency rather than exchange the first carpet for the second? During the Omer, we amass a quantity of individual days and we focus on their unique qualities, and at the same time we appreciate and count them as collective weeks. That's how we are meant to celebrate ourselves and each other. We're supposed to extol our belonging to the unity of the Jewish people, while we each contribute his or her own unique walk, contribution, song. We're all different, but we're all in this together, and we're all part of the same team, if not the same body. And so, during these days of Sfiras HaOmer, we tweak ourselves, we tweak our sensitivities, we try and look for the good in each other, and we get better and better at that. Please God, you should have Shalom Bayis in your homes, and that this Shabbos should be a Shabbos of not only peace in the home, but peace in the world at large. Wish you a Shabbat Shalom of seeing the good in each other and creating the good in the world. Shabbat Shalom.